Well, hi everyone. I'm privileged to get to visit with my good friend and fellow gym rat, Mary Eleanor, also known as ME to her good friends. Hi ME, thanks for agreeing to visit with us today.
Well, thank you for having me. This is a very unusual experience for me.
Well, we appreciate you. We're here visiting today to see if we can learn about your achievements and strategies and deliberate actions that we might be able to take to help us be successful at thriving into our 90s, just as you have done for yourself. So let's get started. By way of introduction, I discovered that you were born November 20th, 1931. So that means you're soon to experience your 91st year of thriving health.
In Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Oh, wow.
The deep south instead of the mountains.
Oh, that's interesting. And also, this amazed me. I Googled you this morning, literally this morning, and learned that you have run the Boulder Boulder for 32 years. And for those that don't know, the Boulder Boulder is a 10K, so over 6 miles, and it's grown to be one of the largest and most respected community running events in the world. And I was just thinking, if I started running the Boulder Boulder next March, when I turn 58, I'll catch up to you in 32 years. Now, I was going to mention Peter Attia is a medical doctor specializing in longevity, and he states that health span, meaning the increase in the quality of our life, requires focus on our brain, body, and spirit, meaning our cognition, maintaining our muscle mass and movement, and having a sense of purpose and a positive mindset. And he also used this quote, which I think is really relevant. He quoted from the Spider-Man movie, and that is, "With great power comes great responsibility." And to that point, I am certain that your status as a powerful, thriving nonagenarian is based on strict hard work and strategy. So to that end, I've created some topics to explore some of your strategies, if that's all right with you.
That's fine.
Okay, then, so for category 1, let's start with exercise. I'm really interested to know when you began your running career, based on me learning about your Boulder Boulder experience.
In 1970, my husband and I moved from New Orleans to the metro area, and he had started running. Well, I didn't know anyone, and I had 3 daughters in high school, middle school, elementary school. And so I thought, well, I've got to do something. Maybe I should just run with my husband. And that sort of started me. He's behind really all of our running, as my daughters and I have done this through the years.
That's really neat too, that your family can join in the fitness journey together. I love that answer. When would you say you started lifting weights and doing your resistance training? That's really interesting to me as a female weightlifter.
Oh, about in 1980, or really maybe before that, I started realizing as I played tennis that my knees were twitching and that I should develop some muscle maybe around those knees to prevent surgery. And I was about 75, so I wasn't really interested. Although I know it's a successful surgery, I just was not quite interested in having the surgery. So that's about the time I started exercising more in the gym with weights and stretching and cardio and so forth.
Wow, I mean, it's very interesting because I've read that only about 20 or 25% of women do resistance training, and men not that much more, to be honest, only about 35%. So you're definitely in the minority, and I think you've made some really good choices for your life. How important is cardio to your success?
Well, I'm sure it is, and mainly because I enjoy running. I did once upon a time. I now walk the Boulder Boulder, but I enjoy being outside. Nature just soothes my mind and my body and my spirit. And when I come back into the home, I am relaxed and ready to do whatever the day presents.
That makes sense, and I can totally relate to that. I do my park walks every day, and I love the nature at Washington Park. When did you realize the importance of stretching as part of your routine and regimen?
When I started really going to the gym and lifting weights, a trainer suggested that I do a lot of stretching either before or right after the weight training and the walking on the treadmill. So now when I start out, I prefer to stretch first, and then I do the weights, and then I do treadmill.
That's brilliant, and it's definitely one of our key strategies is the warm up and the stretching. So, nice job on that. Next, let's touch on your diet and nutrition. So, first question I was curious about is: do you kind of classify yourself more as an omnivore / a little bit meat eater, or more of a strict vegetarian, or some other category?
I'm just in between. I eat a lot of protein. I do stress protein in my diet, but I eat vegetables. I try to drink more water than I do. I know that is very important, so I'm trying to improve on the water intake. But no, I eat just about everything. I'm not, in past years, I did not eat sweets. However, as I've aged, I'm afraid I've sort of increased my sweet eating.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. A little bit of cheat meal is allowed on all the hard work you're doing in the gym. You sound just like my friend Alan Aragon, who is the epitome of fitness and nutrition, and he really very similarly has the same diet as you, which is get variety and focus on your protein. So good going there. I need to know, are you a coffee drinker?
I drink one cup of coffee in the morning, and that really is about all. Once in a while in the summer in the afternoon, I'll drink iced coffee, but for the most part, it's 1 cup of coffee a day.
Well, what we learn from some of the things I've studied is coffee is a longevity pill, so I think you're doing the right thing there. And then we all want to know this question too, it's very interesting to me, and that is, do you enjoy any alcohol drinks?
Yes, I do. I drink 2 glasses of bourbon and water with ice and water every evening.
Very nice. So it's a bit of a tradition and helps your evening. It's nice to have a routine and that kind of thing.
And that's my routine with a little cheese and crackers.
Very interesting. And I think we'll probably touch on this down in our questions regarding your sleep routine. So this will be real interesting to get into a little bit more. Now, next, let's shift to mindset and motivation. So one of my questions that we talk about a lot and people are interested to know is, how do you stay motivated?
Well, I used to work out 3 or 4 days a week. Now, as I've aged, I just know that exercise makes me feel so much healthier and more energetic. And I can go home and do other things around the home. And I enjoy it. I enjoy lifting weights. It's sort of like me against myself. And so I've just continued that, and plus the fact that when I am at the athletic club, I get in the socializing bit, which is very important to old age.
That also is true. What I heard in your answer a little bit was exercise and movement is medicine for you. It helps you feel better mentally and physically, and that's a wonderful thing to think about. So thank you for that. Do you set personal goals, and if so, kind of what are some that you're working on now?
Well, that's sort of a funny question for me, but my goal is to stay in my home for a little while longer. I know that I'll be 91, and the only thing, though, that helps me to stay in my home, or really is the key, is the fact that I am active. And I'm just really blessed to enjoy working out, and I realize the importance of exercise, especially in the gym, where I do the weights, and I do the stretching, and I do cardio. So I guess the goal is really to stay in my home a few years longer.
That's the best goal there is, and what I'm hearing is your skull crushers and your bicep curls and your Bosu ball work are keeping you at home.
Thank you, that is true.
100%. And then lastly, I wanted to get some of your additional thoughts on aging so successfully like you have. So first idea is, What are some of your methods for getting quality sleep?
Well, I am a person, rather strange person maybe, but I do not turn the radio or the TV on until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I settle in and I listen to the news, and then I may have one or two other programs that I watch, Nature on Channel 6. But around 8:30 or 9, I turn the TV off, and I might clean up the kitchen, and then I go up to the bedroom, and for about 30 or 35 minutes, I get ready for bed, read a book, but I have no TV on. I do not see the glare of TV, and that is really what doctors recommend. So I have taken the time to, after watching TV a while, not doing anything.
See, I love that intentional habit, and I'm going to take your advice and adopt that, because that's one thing I do as I keep the TV on, and I think you're onto something, because with that backlit, that blue light we call it, with the screens, meaning our iPhones or the TV, that's not doing us any favors in preparing us for being sleepy for bed. How do you manage stress?
Well, I think that I have two things that I manage stress with. If I feel stressful during the day, I will try to go outside and walk, look at the trees, look at my surroundings. I don't wear earbuds, and I do that sort of thing. But along with that, something that is very important to me is that I will have my quiet time, and I speak to Jesus, and I sit there and just attempt to relax and do nothing. And when I've done those two things, I feel more relaxed and ready to face this rather stressful world we're in.
100%. I love that answer so much. And related to that is, you're relaxing, you're expressing gratitude, and you're kind of doing some thinking and planning. And these are all the best things I've read that we can do. And so we're learning a lot from you right now. What is your own view on the lifestyle versus the genetics for longevity conversation? Like what do you say, you control versus your ancestors and family tree?
I do think genetics has something to do with my good health. I'm just blessed to have genes, so I do think that's important. I think maybe more important, though, is the fact that I have always loved nature. I've always enjoyed being outside, and I enjoy working out because, as I said before, it's me against my body, and I just enjoy that workout and realize that it does so much for my mental state and spiritual state.
Absolutely. And I think you mentioned too, compared to some of your friends, which chose a different kind of active lifestyle pathway, you can see the difference clearly.
At my age, I can. I know I've had a blessed life. I've not had to work, but I realize the importance of exercise, and my friends my age have not done that for a very long time. And so I know that exercise at my age is the thing that has sort of, quote, kept me going.
Oh, absolutely. And what an example that, you have to compare and know the power of what you're doing. Emmy, thank you so much. What a pleasure it is to get to visit with you and learn about your longevity strategies. And I really mean that. We've learned several interesting things that I think we can take home and implement for ourselves. So now that we're at the gym, let's go kick some ass and lift some heavy shit.
Yeah. Thank you, Brett, for this interview, and thank you for being my friend at the gym.
Yes, and thank you. It's been a pleasure.